Tyler was also back there with them, and then they just kind of rose over the years and just ended up helping us out so much in the end.
Chase was just always good. He never had to work for it.
Wow. Must be nice.
Yeah, Tyler wasn't actually even in the top 5 when we set that 5-man average record. He wasn't one of the top 5 freshmen. And yet, he ran 16:34 at the Group 4 state meet as a senior. So that just shows you the kind of group we had, and also shows you what Tyler did to develop into a really, fine athlete, distance athlete over the years, starting as a sprinter.
That's hard work, man. Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So a lot of good vibes going into the season. I was hoping we could talk a little bit about your regular season leading up to it, and I wrote a few things down. I just noticed you guys got tied third for at short coaches, Burlington County, easy win, big win, 20 points, and then Olympic win, and then sectional win. How did this all kind of build to how you were feeling about the group? Because you were facing some Group 4 teams like all along the way there too. It was good to see them, and
short coaches was a tough one. That was our first one that we had. We actually put like a top 7 into effect, and that wasn't even the top 7 that's here right now.
I don't know.
And technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think the thing is for us too.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, like, over the course of the season, like how like Shaq, I think, kind of builds our training. Like, we just like build up and up over the summer, and we like specifically aimed our like peak for this year for like mock and states and all those, because we knew that that's when we would need it. And I think that's like when it came in handy later, just kind of building up to that.
Yeah, like this season, we definitely did not race as much as other seasons, and we sort of, even on like maybe like Burlington County Conference, we were kind of just like trying to just learn how to just like work as a team, not as much trying to like hammer out like really fast times. And I think that really contributed to our success later on as we got into like sectionals and Group 4 states.
Yeah, and I could say for the team, we all progressively kept getting closer and closer with each other as the season progressed. And it was kind of like, it kind of seemed like everything was working and started weaving together like it should have.
Yeah. From my perspective, a couple of things that I saw, like I said earlier, Brett came in really good shape, but then I guess it was shortly after Cherokee Challenge, ended up with an injury that put him out. I think for, what was it, Brett, about a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah. Which is a kind of a significant thing at that point in the season. You miss a lot of good training, and it takes a while to kind of build back. So, a lot of credit to him for getting back in there. But his first race back was our county meet. That was basically his first 5K of the year. And, and that was just kind of a rust buster. And, he just got better as we got into the championships. On the other hand, Nico, who also came in great shape this year, and was battling that hip injury, but kind of managing it a little bit in the beginning of the season. He ran very fast in a couple of the early ones, especially short coaches. He was, I think, Nico, were you our third man there? Or?
Yeah, I forget. I was like 16:46 or something.
16:44,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was just, I give Nico a lot of credit also for just dealing with the injury and hanging in there, even though it was definitely affecting his training and definitely impacted his racing later. So he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do at the state meet. But again, this group, they just, one guy has a problem, somebody else steps up and falls in there. And you got somebody like Danny who, coming from a whole different program, having to adapt to not only a new team, but a new school and all of that goes with that. Initially it was probably pretty tough. In fact, when we went to short coaches, he was running in the JV race for us that day, and he ran 17:16 in his first race at Homedale there, and earned his way into the varsity from that point forward. So it was just a lot of things like that. Tyler being a former sprinter who became an excellent distance runner. Mike Gavio, just super consistent. Chase Miller and Ethan Wexler. I mean, they've been, the mainstay of our team for the last 3 years. So it was just a great group to work with.
I think one of the things that made it a little bit more challenging too, is we just highlighted some of the particular unique challenges that we face as a team this fall. But being a Group 4 school, we weren't in a position where we could just kind of train through and rest guys and turn it on in early November. From the moment we were at the conference meet, we were having a race against a really good Cherry Hill East team. And we were confident that we could come out on top, but we weren't going to be able to beat them if we didn't have a good race out there. And we did, but we just didn't have the opportunity to rest a lot of guys, to cycle guys through as working with their maladies. So looking back, it was certainly a great season, but I know throughout the fall there was a lot of stress, wondering what we were going to be able to do, how these injuries would turn out, and what those late season meets would end up looking like for us as a team.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There are probably a lot of Group 4 schools that kind of are able to coast through their group, their section, and here you guys have a surging Cherry Hill East team, a dominant Kingsway team, and be able to come out on top of both of them, but it certainly wasn't easy. And then on top of that, you have some injuries, and you're asking your 7, 8, 9 guys to step up, and I know the culture of Cherokee, like they're able to do it. They want to be there, and they put in the work.
They do.
That's a lot of things going into you guys being able to win this Group 4 state meet. That's really interesting. So again, we come out of the section, and pardon me for just double checking, but we come out of that section, and you do end up crushing Kingsway and Cherry Hill East 42 and they end up tying in 80. So we're feeling good coming out of the section, but it wasn't a walkthrough. And now we're heading to the meet that I would really like to hear the most about, the Group 4 state championship. Do you think you guys could walk me through how you felt before, and then maybe we could talk a little bit about that first mile and kind of chronologically go through that race for you guys that day?
I think I can kind of speak for everyone. Like, I don't really remember the beginnings of that day because we were just like looking forward to it so much, and we were working to it for so long that it kind of it felt like an out of body experience. Like, I kind of remember walking with Brett to the start line, going like, "Oh, this is really happening right now. Like, we're really about to get on the line and run the Group 4 state meet." For me, the last time. For him, not the last time. But we were getting on the line, and like we were just like, okay, it's.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember that conversation with Ethan, and it was a moment where we were like walking to the line, and for me personally, I had a moment of like, oh, this is what we trained for. Everything will build up to this moment since 4th grade, and here I am standing right next to my teammates since then. It was like a crazy, surreal moment for me.
Yeah, and like when we were sort of just warming up, maybe staying on the line, we could kind of all just like look around the other teams, and we're like, man, we definitely can do this. Like, these people haven't done any more than we have, and we definitely are going to be able to like stick it to them, which definitely gave us a lot of confidence. And I think going into that, it really helped us because we really pushed from the gun, I think.
Yeah.
I think what's nice too is we're not like some teams are like super like focused, and like we're focused on what we're doing, and then we like get what's done. But like the one thing, like I don't know, I just don't like going up to line just being stressed. Like I like being like, I don't know, just kind of like, okay, we're getting ready to race, and then once you're on that line, that's when you focus up, and that's like when like it's time to go and you get serious, and I think that just helps me at the line.
Yeah, we were looser than other teams who were super tense, and
I feel like. Go ahead, Mike.
I feel like I was like a little too anxious for the race because I was injured last year for sectionals and states, so I didn't get to race either. And so like this year was like my first for both of them. And so like I got like a little too anxious for states, and I feel like it like affected my race a little more. But like I was able to like calm myself down.
Yeah, you had a nice race coming out of sectionals, and then states, well, maybe was a little disappointing for you. You are a good example of what I've been talking about with this group. If we don't have an excellent race, we always get a good one. You know, nobody tanks. You know, they're solid. So it's a great thing as a coach to be able to, you know, to depend on these guys, know that they're going to show up and give what they've got on that day.
But I think a lot of what these guys were just talking about, like what was going through their minds, what they were feeling that morning of, I think a lot of that had to do with how they approached, I mean, not just the season, but that 1 week prior to the state meet in particular, because they were loose that whole week. I mean, yeah, they were very focused, and they wanted that trophy. They wanted a banner in the gym real badly. But they weren't letting that get in the way of them doing the things that they needed to do at practice. And I think that translated into having a proper mindset Saturday afternoon when we were heading up to the starting line that day.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is clearly one unit as a team. I'm not sure every team can say that. Do you think you guys could walk us through, talking specifically to the athletes now, maybe how you felt going up that first hill through the woods and coming out? Could you see your teammates? Did you get a feel that there were Chiefs around you and that this was going to be something we could win today? Because Group 4 is, I mean, obviously, notoriously, it's almost like MOC. It's every good team. You're facing everyone in the state right now. Did you feel like off that first mile that this was going to be a good day?
So at the start, for most races actually this season, I kind of just like, I'm just start like, make sure I can see Chase and kind of run with him. But then very quickly I got cut off of him. And I was like, oh man, this is not like my usual race start. So from that point, I kind of, was just trying to adjust through the pack because it kind of, everything funnels in. Everything funnels in because all those teams are going into that shoot. Mm-hmm. And so I really had to focus on getting my positioning, which was really important. And so the first mile, actually, I did feel pretty good through it. I just felt I felt like I did what I was supposed to for the first mile.
Okay. How to get out, yeah. Were there people around you? Anyone else feel like they could see their teammates around them?
I tried to go out like quick because I just knew I wanted to be in the front, and I like with the, because I knew I was like in contention to maybe win. Mm-hmm. So I never want to get stuck in that backfield ever, especially when you know that you can beat so many of those people.
Yeah, I do remember getting stuck in that pack. Like it was really crowded that day. I remember like everyone was just like kind of going out for it, and like Tyler said, I was actually like kind of nervous because he'd been like next to me like a couple races before, and we would like work together off the start. So like I like didn't see him there, which did make me a little nervous, but it ended up all right.
I was stuck in that backpack, and I remember my legs getting like jotted and kicked around, and I couldn't go faster, couldn't go slower. It was just like a slow motion. So I got a little nervous, but then I kind of just like made myself relax, and I took a good like look around. I could see Mike right there and Danny a little ahead of me. So I could take like a moment, breathe. I was like, all right, the team's right with me.
Yeah, like going into that race, my injury had gotten pretty bad, so like I just wanted to like obviously make sure like I saw some of the guys on our team like Danny and just Mike and just keep them like in sight, but like getting like stuck in like in the back of the pack was not like something like I was used to at that, like not being able to perform like I usually do.
so funny at the start of the race because at the beginning it feels like a dead sprint, but then as you start going up the hill, it's just a straight jog because there's like those winding corners, and everyone's just packed together, and everyone's just kind of shuffling. So it's just kind of funny the way it starts off.
Very astute from a new cross country runner. You're very right. You're like, that's pretty much how it goes. So, or Mike, did you have anything about
Yeah, everyone always like kind of sprints up the hill. So I tried to like get as good of like positioning as I could before like, because right when everyone gets up that first hill, the pack just slows down immediately. Like, so I tried my best to get like ahead of that, and I'm like terrible when it comes to having good starts like in races. It's just something I always try to work on, and I just can't really do. And so like I tried getting kind of in front of it. I was like in like the middle of it instead of like the back this time, and I just kind of got swarmed in the beginning.
I really can't imagine what it's like racing that group 4 meet, but especially that get out. But so now it sounds like for the most part we're at least in the middle. You've got maybe Ethan up front, but for the most part you guys can see each other. A few people have said you can see each other. So now as we're heading like down towards the bowl area, are we stringing out or are we still a good pack?
Yeah, I think by the time you get around like that like little like I don't know like what it is like that wheat field or whatever it is. Once you get around there, like getting towards like the sandy trail to the bowl, it starts to like you kind of like space out more, and that's like where you really like see who's around you, who you're gonna be with.
Yeah, up front, I know it was like me, Jackson, and Oliver, and we were all like, no one wanted to lead, and then like right after we passed the mile, I was like, okay, I'm taking this because I don't. Even if you don't, I was like, even if I don't win, I don't want to have a slow time. Like that just is not something I wanted at the state meet.
During the second mile, this is sort of where I started to like come catch back up to Chase. I was like, okay, I'm starting to gain some confidence. But then, that hill, that thing always kind of tears me apart. But I knew that had definitely gained some ground, so I was kind of pushing using my downhills, even though I know my like uphill is pretty weak. So I think I was playing the race the best that I could have, just to give myself the best advantage throughout the end to the end.
Yeah, I remember when I hit the mile marker and I couldn't help but look at the clock. I try not to, but I looked at it and I remember I was a little behind of where I wanted to be. So, and I remember it was either Shaq or Thompson, and they said, just catch one guy. And then that's when it flipped from like a panic to like, okay, this is for my guys. And I started trying to, that's how I kind of went through that next mile, just catch one body at a time. It was helpful.
That's good.
At this point in the race, I was like kind of hurting. I was like in my head, I was like, this isn't gonna be a good race. Like, I just don't feel good at all. And I like saw Brett in front of me, and I was just like, okay, just like if you can't catch up to him, just like keep the same distance. Like, just move at his speed. Like, you don't have to catch up. But just make sure you don't fall behind. So that's just what I kept thinking to myself.
Yeah, going down into the bowl, like I knew I wasn't having like a good race, but like I just like I found my pack and I just kept like racing Danny and like keeping him in my sight to kind of push me to do like the best I could that day.
Also, like another thing is that I was definitely counting, I guess, colors, like the colors of the uniforms. I was trying to see where the different teams were. And I just remember it being really hard because there was way too much green and blue. And the uniforms weren't the same, so I knew they weren't the same team. But it was just so hard for me to figure out like where we were in the standings. I guess made me feel a definite need to keep trying to push the advantage because I really didn't want to end up at the end and have some guy in blue pass me, and that ended up being the difference between a win and a loss.
You now know what it's the frustrations of being a coach at a meet like that.
So I was gonna say, it's like I can't do that. Like you're in the race. But good self-awareness. I hope my athletes do that too. They look around, they know, like, all right, we're trying to beat, West Windsor. We're trying to beat whoever. So that's good. So maybe we could talk about maybe now the final mile of the race where you've made it through the bowl, and it's either it's net flat, it's net downhill, and you're trying to win this Group 4 state championship. I've kind of heard consistently that you guys are looking out for your boys' jerseys all the time. Was that helpful in that final mile too, or were you just kind of like, I gotta send it, or I gotta get out of this race so we can do well?
All right, I'll go. Well, I hit the 2 mile marker, and I started to be able to see Tyler. And earlier at the Penny Packer JV meet, when I was injured, we made a deal: if I beat him, I get to wax any part of his body that I choose. So that started going through my mind of, hey, I really want to wax his beard. So like joking around like that actually helped me a lot, be able to see that the body. So I started pushing it because I had some work to catch up to him. And I think eventually I caught up to him, and then his 800 speed came in. And
yeah, going into, I guess, that wooded part of the gigantic just downhill spiral, I couldn't see Chase, and I really wanted to see Chase. So I kind of just started booking it. I was chasing down anyone I could. I was with, I think, Aiden Iron. He was like right next to me, and we were both just dead sprinting it through the woods and outside of it. So I think I had a really nice like closing bit, and I think that really helped me kind of close gaps. So I think sort of having the people near me that are also trying to give it all to the end, that just happened to also be, someone I had raced conference and sectionals helped me, but also I was trying to get back up with my teammate to make sure we could reduce the amount of points as possible between us.
Yeah, I think the one thing is for us too, like we all like kind of build, like everyone said, we're just like counting off like bodies and like picking people off like one at a time. We don't like, I don't think any of us like really go out like super fast and end up getting caught. Like we all like pick it up through the race and like just kind of pick people off. And I know for me, like coming in like towards the end, we do like a workout in the summer a lot where we go up and we break the course into 400 meters and we do them like each at a time. And that helps me just like knowing like, okay, I got to reach the next 400. And you just got to like get through those marks like one at a time. And I think that helps.
Stealing Shaq's workouts. This is good. Thank you. I like that. Actually, I like that a lot. That makes a lot of sense, Chase.
Mm.
I know, like, for the last mile, it was just me and one other guy, and I was just trying to, like, kick it in to, like, just, be the lead for the team and not die, and I just was focusing on the end. And then right when I finished, I'd, like, turn around, I was just, like, looking and counting like they said they were, too. Like, I was just trying to see, okay, what's going on, because we didn't even know after the race because the timing was all messed up.
Yeah.
Those 400s are done at 5 mile race pace, in case you're wondering.
5 mile, yeah. So this is like easy. This is like their easy day pace.
Yeah,
yeah. Got it. So it sounds like a good last mile. This was a really weird day where you guys didn't know for hours until what happened. Can you maybe, even with coaches, tell us like what was going on there, how you felt, and when did you eventually find out?
At the finish line, we really had no idea. As Tyler was talking about, it's hard to watch. It's hard to count the uniforms and know for sure what's going on. We actually asked a freshman to stand at the finish line with with one of our phones and videotape the finish so that we could try to go back to our tent and figure out the finish. But that just didn't prove to be helpful in determining it. And then just going back and forth to the timing truck for what seemed like hours, even though it was at the very end of the day. And we're getting frustrated because we didn't know if we had a good race. We wanted to know. It came out with one set of results that ended up being wrong. It was pretty challenging. The guys can probably speak to this, but they were doing their cool down, like peeking around the corner to look at the tent to see if we knew. They didn't want to get too close to the coaches because they weren't sure if they had a good race.
That cool down was interesting. We were all together, and then like the kids who were there from our team too, like they like half of them weren't even like watching the race. It felt like we're like, what happened there? Like we don't know. So we were definitely trying to figure it out on our cool down though.
That's the weird thing about cross country. You can be watching the race. It's that a sporting event where you can be watching it and you don't know who won when it's over. That's unusual in sports. Usually there's a clear winner at the end. But cross country sometimes not so easy to tell. And in that Group 4 state meet, oh my God, it's just, as you said, it's just so deep. I mean, if you look at the next week, 8 of the first 13 teams at the Meet of Champions were Group 4 teams. So it just gives you an idea. That Group 4 race, trying to figure out anything while it's going on is practically impossible. And I know I tend to be, I'm usually an optimistic guy, but on race day, not so much. I'm usually like assuming the worst and hoping that I'm wrong. But so that whole time that we were waiting around to find out, I didn't have
that's my burden to bear on race day.
Yeah, I remember on our cooldown, it was like, I think it was kind of sad for us. Like, just speaking from me, like we thought like that we didn't have it, and we were like, wow, after like all these years, like that's it now. That was our chance, and it just like made like when we heard that we did, it just made it like so much more like worth it. Like it just like really hit us.
It felt like the only true way to like end the whole high school thing, like having a win at like a big level like that. We were like, if we went through all these years and then like nothing came out of it, like that would have been really disappointing.
I remember it being freezing cold, and so the waiting was not helping in any way. I was kind of just like go in that little cabin thing, and I was just sitting in there talking to people. I was like, anyone can just talk to people. I don't know, and it was really just like I was trying to just find any way to just de-stress and chill. I was maybe hoping that they post some results outside the cabin, so I was just waiting. And so yeah, it was just a big waiting game.
Do you remember roughly like what time the race ended and how long it really did take? Did you stay there the whole time? I think I was home. So I was in the Group 3 meet, and then I went home. I didn't find out until it felt like a while on my hospital leave.
Well, we were a lot more fortunate than some of the other races, or most of the other races that were there. Some of them didn't find out until much, much later, well after they got home. I want to say we found out about an hour and a half after the race, 2 hours. It felt like longer.
I'm sure.
But
much longer.
It got to a point where we sent the whole team onto the bus and just had them waiting there because there weren't any more races going on, and we were just hovering by the timing clock. And thankfully, they decided to do the Group 4 boys race results before they finished some of the others, and that worked in our favor. Worked in our favor in terms of finding out at the course on race day, as opposed to like finding out when we're home and we're not even all together, something like that.
Yeah, I remember us all like sitting in the bus and like seeing Thompson and Shaq like walk in, and Thompson like didn't even have like a happy face either. Like he was like stone cold. He said it, and the bus just like riots all over the place. Like we were all so excited. Even the people who didn't race, was all excited for us.
I think Shaq and I threw a couple things down onto our seat before we said anything.
Yeah, really trying to mess with us. So when Shaq was telling us, when Shaq was telling us sort of like who won, he made it the point of like saying our score. I don't know if it was last or first, but he like very methodically went through each of the scores before he told us that we won. He was like, okay, you guys have like 80 points. Next one, 110, like 111, whatever. And then he's just like, oh, congratulations. And like, it was so weird how he set it up, but I guess it really helped the moment. And it was just a great time after that because we were so happy and everything.
And then we went to Wawa. And
Classic.
Jason stopped up.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a really great story. I guess even more dramatic when you're just waiting around. But I guess for anyone watching, they did end up winning with 95 points, and the close race was right behind you, 123 to 124 to 124. Although again, I think like Shaq said in Group 4, it's all a mess. But that was a handily first win or handily Group 4 win for the Cherokee
Yeah.
Boys.
One of the things I like is we won by enough that if you took Mike Gavio out as our fifth man and put in either Danny or Nico, we still win. So
Okay.
Even with our seventh man being our fifth man, we were good enough on that day to beat the other team, and that was important because we wanted it to be a 7-man team win, and I really felt like that's what it was when I saw those results.
And do we have the second, third, fourth teams? Because wasn't it 3 green teams? Something I feel like I noted. I was like, wow,
Ridge
had
and
3
North
teams the same
Hunterdon.
color.
Yeah,
I think it was Ridge and North Hunterdon were second and third, and Cherry Elise fourth, but that was on the tie break, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I have. Yep. That's what I have. Yeah. Hard to tell. I'm sure it's a rainbow out there and a really quick rainbow.
It was really frustrating in the moment, but looking back on it now, it kind of adds to the story, and
yeah.
it's something that we'll all remember
Yeah. That sounds like
for many, many years to come with this group of guys that are right here.
Yeah. Our first state championship since 2007, so it's been a while.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's such a hard thing to do in Group 4. That's awesome, guys. Before we continue with a little bit more talk about track, I was hoping that we could play our game of Kahoot. So for anyone still watching, I sent a survey out to these guys, coaches and athletes, and asked them questions that they responded to, and then I created a Kahoot game to see who knew each other the best. So at the end, we will have a champion best teammate or best coach, maybe. Sam, are you able to pull that up?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen. So for those of you that have played before, you guys can go ahead and go to kahoot.it. So it's in the web browser.
I'll be right back.
And can you see that screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where? Oh, give me a second here.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh. You're gonna have to give me a moment. I successfully locked myself out of my phone for 5 minutes by getting the password correct 6 times.
What?
It sounds like you, Tyler.
Do you know what your password is?
Yes.
Do you want to share it to everybody?
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm just trying to get the entire Kahoot to fit onto the stream.
So I'm looking at the stream right now. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Is this everybody?
There might be 9.
It's Tyler, probably.
Is Tyler on?
No, Tyler's not on. Ooh, this is so messed up, man.
This looks a lot better than our last Kahoot. I think whatever you adjusted,
Huh?
I think this looks better than the last time we tried this.
Yeah, it
So,
does.
Whatever you did.
Wait, do we have everybody? We're missing Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler.
Ooh, all right. That's your team,
Yeah.
right? Who's MC Zerzola? He can join, right?
Mike?
You want that, Mike?
Yeah, let him join.
Yeah, it'll be
All
fun.
right, Mike, hop in. It's all about your teammates.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hopefully you can hear us.
We lost someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do we
Mike.
That's Mike Zola.
It's just Tyler right now.
That's funny.
Do we have Tyler on our chat on Zoom? Do you leave?
Tyler,
Yeah.
say something.
I might have frozen.
Yeah, I don't know what Tyler
The
is.
difficulties are being managed.
He can join in.
Maybe he'll be late.
Yeah, you could join a little after too.
I have the problem that my Zoom thing stopped responding. So
Shoot, what can we do?
The only thing is, Mike is going to be at such a disadvantage because he's not in the Zoom call, so he's got 10 seconds to answer these questions.
Oh wow.
If he goes, wait, did he leave the call? He's on the call. Maybe just go back and forth between windows, Tyler.
No, I'm talking about
Mike Zola.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
because he's not on. He can't see my
Oh,
screen.
that's right.
Mike
it's
is
like
smart. He doesn't need
It's a
10
big lag.
seconds.
All right. Good luck, Mike.
All right, you ready?
All right, Tyler, we're playing without you.
Tyler, hop in late if you
You're
can.
taking so long.
I would say you can play for him, but you made this
I
Kahoot.
did make the Kahoot.
You may have to go without Tyler.
I just say we let Mike Z play for Tyler. That'll count.
Yeah,
I'll get started.
All right. If Mike
Here
Z
we go.
wins, it's Tyler. I actually don't remember these answers, so if I played, I would for sure get them all wrong.
Surprised Nico's not on an answer.
Yeah, I thought that would be neat.
Yeah.
Loves Pig.
Yay.
Awesome.
Not even here to get it right.
Aw.
Shoot.
Oh yeah.
All right, Ethan up front.
Wow.
Typical.
The long run. I do like long runs. They're fun.
Blah.
Not Chase.
No, not
It might be Chase actually. I think it's Brett.
no. Yeah, it's definitely Brett.
Yeah.
All your
Those are
answers.
your answers.
People already answered.
Not everyone.
Missing one.
Okay.
Really, guys.
Oh.
I love that rule.
Nine is all we have, right?
I think
Love them all. All right, pretty close up front.
Yeah, this is a close race right here.
It's Mike.
I think it's there.
No, Ethan, you should get this.
Definitely volleyball.
I can't actually see the screen. I had
Better be volleyball.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys.
definitely volleyball.
Fun fact for anybody watching, we sign up for volleyball tournaments.
Yeah, we're pretty much all professional volleyball players also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're better at volleyball than cross country.
I don't
Did you
think
guys
this is
play at
fair.
Running Works? I feel like I never saw you guys on the. We have some courts there.
Oh yeah, they were there.
We were always there.
Oh, okay. Missed it.
I wonder if they were you guys playing at the one that was closest to the rec.
Yeah, like they
Okay.
Yeah, like the dining area. Yeah, they weren't by it. They were
That's where the good
not
players
the
play.
ones with cabins.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is really close.
Jeez.
I am at a severe disadvantage.
It's
I
Chase.
assume that's Tyler.
Chase.
You said that.
Chase.
Stop yelling the answers before we start.
Definitely Chase.
I mean, he's not wrong, but
That,
Really
not,
get
not,
out of the way, like actually the things.
what?
What?
Oops on you. I said running anything besides Main Street.
I actually said Main Street.
I Main Street.
Everything wrong.
All right, does that shake it up?
Oh,
I
dang.
got it right.
Cheap
Oh, he knew it wasn't himself.
Great physics.
Oh yeah. Call his mom.
Can't not click physics. I'm sorry, dude.
No, I had to click it. Even if it's wrong.
Something you would do.
Mike, you didn't even take physics.
Yeah, but I still know you teach it.
Goose. Yeah.
Warm up with Shaq.
Oh,
Well, disappointed, Thompson.
this equation's to help.
I was only given one option. I couldn't put in multiple answers.
All right. Chase is making a move.
Hey, Chase, you can get one wrong. It's okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna just say yo-yo.
Wait, Ethan, none of those are juggling.
Oh my god, I am good at juggling. I just learned how to do it.
No, it's hula hooping.
Well, then maybe you can teach me because I don't have the slightest clue on how to juggle.
Yeah, we learned in gym class and
That's
I hit my goal in quarantine.
You gotta have goals.
Yeah, no running goals anymore, just juggling goals.
Just goals.
Oh, Shaq is getting,
Right?
he's getting in there. He's getting in the race.
Oh my, I have no idea.
Fire state.
Oh, I know who this is.
Is it Nico? I said Tyler.
I said
Like,
Nico.
Nico, roll it up.
Nico
No,
goes to like.
Definitely Nico.
What was the question?
Okay, well.
Who said their secret skill was cooking a fire steak?
Oh,
I feel like Steph does all the cooking for Nico. I feel like he does.
That's true.
No. Not all the time.
Okay. Dang, I'm holding on tight.
Chase, team of the year.
Oh god.
Oh. I wonder who this could be.
He wears the shorts.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
The short.
Ellie mentioned it the other day, too.
Any reason, Chase?
And I love Canada. I always love visiting there.
All right.
No.
Yes, I passed you.
No.
Mm. He took it away.
Where'd Shaq go? I thought Shaq was in the top three.
Yeah, I've been on a bad streak here.
Oh.
Not done.
Wow.
Very optimistic.
Mhm. Well, I'm back on the board.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm back against Mike.
Chase, have you got one wrong yet?
Nope.
Oh, I don't even know. I would have said Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, dang.
Brett has that crackhead energy.
Don't say that, dude.
I think mine.
Oh, I would have never guessed that.
Really? I feel like Danny used to do football.
No, I thought it'd be you.
No, who does football?
That's what would be Mike.
That was Danny all the way.
Did anyone say anything though? He was just like,
I said Tyler.
No, yeah, I think Chase.
I think Jace.
I would also do that.
We still have no audio from Danny.
To be fair, Danny would say that for any race, probably.
No audio.
I'm trying.
No, I don't think so. I think he's still frozen.
All right, last question.
I have no idea.
I'm going with Gavio.
But I was
Go with Thompson.
No, you're wrong. It's not me. So.
I said Nico.
Just kidding.
Is there an explanation there?
That's the best. That's the best workout coaches get, I think. Just
That's why
Just sprinting
Oh, this
back
is
and
for a
forth.
coach.
Oh.
Oh, I got
Oh,
it.
I read that so wrong then.
Yeah, I thought he meant like sprinting in the beginning and at the end.
I assumed it was like a Cherokee thing. You guys would like work out in the middle of races. Oh, okay. As
No,
a
that's-
coach,
that's my workout every week.
That's my bad.
That
That makes
makes
sense.
That makes a lot more sense
That
reading
makes
it
more
again.
sense. Yeah,
We need a redo.
that
I
was
read
on
it
me. My bad.
I mean, he's not wrong there. I mean, I probably burn more calories running back and forth to see the runners than you do as an actual physical workout.
Especially at home though, yeah.
Yeah. And
Alright.
multiple races at each meet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Chase, far and away the best
Jeez,
teammate.
especially
Chase.
the Cherokee Challenge. I feel like I'm nonstop sprinting.
Yeah. Well, there's too many races. That's the problem.
Yeah, I like the
Great
Cherokee
race.
Challenge. That's fun. It's definitely changes it up a bit for the kids. Yeah. All right, good job, Chase.
Congrats.
Oh, he only got one wrong.
Yeah, the last one.
Dang.
Oh my goodness.
Good team.
That hurts, Chase.
I would have understood. I would have got you.
Yeah, that was poorly worded. That's my bad. That was really fun hearing from you guys about like your season, and then especially that awesome Group 4 meet, and then get to play a game. Could you guys wrap up for us, maybe telling us any of our seniors here what they're doing next year, and then maybe what the rest of the team is looking forward to in the summer? We have a handful of seniors, right?
Yep.
I'll start, I guess. I'm going to Syracuse to keep running cross country and track.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm running at UCLA next year.
Nice.
And I'm running at Bloomsburg University.
I'm going to University of North Dakota for track and cross country.
That was Jackson. Can't see him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's where Carson Wentz went, right?
I think he went to North Dakota State, but yeah, basically
Rivals.
about the same place.
Well, cool.
This is
Well, that's cool. We can't wait to follow along with you guys and hear about everything that's going on. How about our returners and like heading into the summer, Shaq and Thompson? Are we starting to gear up towards summer training now? I think maybe most of us.
I actually need to send that schedule out before the end of the week here.
That's why we're doing this whole call. Actually, it's an intervention.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Matt.
Send out your training, Shaq.
Yeah. Got it. I'll get on that.
Cool.
We kind of used the spring as if we were going to have a season and tried to stick with that as long as we could. It got a little tough towards the end, just losing motivation when we realized there was no season coming.
Yeah.
But this is a down week. This is the break week in between, and then next week will be a pretty easy week. Not too many days of running coming back. We got plenty of time to build through the summer and get ready for the season. We do lose a great group of seniors. Really going to be incoming seniors coming back. 3 in this group here with Brett, Nico, and Danny. And we've got some other guys that are going to contribute. Some other incoming seniors, and also a good freshman group that'll be sophomores should factor in there. And there's a couple of guys out of this year's sophomore class that might be able to, find a way into that top group as well. So, we're optimistic going in that we can be pretty good again. I mean, obviously Cherry Hill East brings a lot back, so they'll be tough to beat. But we'd like to think that we have a good shot at competing with them and with the top teams in Group 4 in the state.
All right. That's gonna be fun to watch along with.
I'm excited to actually train with somebody once the quarantine lift is banded. I can't wait to train with Nico for once.
It's going to be a lot easier getting in miles with doing it with someone else than alone.
Yeah. Like,
It's going to be nice.
hopefully we can all get back to that soon. Yeah, I know my kids feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's tough, but we'll hopefully get back to where we can run together sometime in the near future. We're going ahead and planning the training and the race schedule, assuming that we're going to have a regular cross-country season.
Yeah.
And that certainly is our hope.
Yeah, I think it's good idea to be optimistic. I feel that way too. We should. That's the best thing we can do right now is just kind of hope it's going to happen and act like it's going to happen. Then we'll be best prepared for when and hopefully it does.
Yep.
Yep. Well, cool. This was really fun, guys. I thought this was a great interview. You guys clearly like a close team that's like fun to hang out with and talk to. I really appreciate you guys all joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Pat.
Yeah, it's been awesome to hear.
Thanks, Sam, for the game of Kahoot.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We'll get this interview up on Running Works probably sometime tomorrow. So if you want to watch it back, anyone watching and anyone here, can we hear from Dan? Dan, any audio?
Yeah, dude, he's not frozen anymore.
Dan, you there?
He's like,
Yeah.
Still no audio?
You got to work on your internet connection there.
He's outside.
yeah, why is he outside?
Why is he outside?
Oh,
Something.
I think
All right.
for today.
Well, next time we do this.
My internet usually does this. It's like this all the time.
Okay.
I got my internet usually does this.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
4 words. But next time we do this, Dan, you can be the MC, and I'll go get dinner or something. You can run it the whole thing. All right. Well, it was great seeing you guys again. Yeah. Hopefully we'll hear from you all again soon with results and everything else.
Great.
All right. Take care, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Seniors that are going to college next year, good luck. We'll definitely be following what you do in college to see how you've progressed. And good luck to the returning juniors for next year.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.